Welcome back. Well, just energy transition talks have been raging at the Mining Indaba. The World Coal Association is calling for the industry to calm down and take a step back. Ntokozo Khumalo sat down with the association.
Well, certainly the Just Energy Transition punters have been calling for the industry to embrace renewable energy more and more, but the World Coal Association is calling for a little bit of more practicality when it comes to how fast we want to transition. And joining me now to unpack that a little bit more is Michelle Manuku, who is the CEO at World Coal Association. Thank you so much for your time. Now, obviously, the Just Energy Transition talk has been big talk over the last couple of days at the Mining Indaba, but you're calling for practicality. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think the most important thing for us to look at, particularly when we're talking about any kind of transition, is really to go back to the origins of the Paris Agreement, which really called for all fuels and all technologies to be considered in that transition. And any responsible transition really has to recognize that different nations are at different starting points. And not every solution is every other person's solution. And the diversity of opportunities and technologies are actually going to be the solution for many nations. And that just may not look like 100% renewables. And I think that's quite important. And beyond that, the just energy transition for most nations is really about looking at the direct and indirect effect on communities. And that is actually incredibly important for us not to forget that in our resolution of what's right for us in terms of that mix. And probably the three most important things for any energy transition is to recognize the importance of energy security, energy affordability and energy reliability. And here in South Africa, certainly there's a lot of that consideration in play. Coal will be very important, but not just coal, abated coal, looking at the technologies that make coal a really equal participant in both the decarbonisation and the development agenda.
And just zoning in on coal, what is the role of coal in the just energy transition? Because obviously, as you said, economies such as South Africa, it's a major resource, and I'm sure there's a lot of other African countries and globally. So what is the role that coal needs to be playing in the just energy transition?
It's a great question. I think it's actually the role of abated coal. So I think we accept as the coal value chain that the way coal was can't be the way it's going to be moving forward. We need to look at the technologies that are available to us, the innovation around coal. All of this creates opportunity for communities, for jobs, and for also just making sure that we have a reliable and affordable grid. That's quite important. So my belief, particularly for emerging and developing nations, is that coal will remain very important, but not unabated coal, abated coal. And that will be quite critical in how we deploy that to really support that just energy transition that people are really seeking to achieve.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, Michelle. Of course, that was Michelle Manuku, who is the CEO at the World Coal Association, saying that the industry needs to just keep in mind that different countries are at different levels when it comes to the just energy transition, and that it's important to also consider the communities that may be affected by this and not just drive the just energy transition without that due diligence. For Newzroom Afrika, Channel 405, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Cape Town.